I'm Don Dilday. I'm a retired pastor and a member of Emmanuel Baptist Church here in Lexington, Kentucky. Most of my childhood and into my teenage years were spent on a farm. It was a working farm. We grew soybeans, corn, cotton, and some hay to feed some of the livestock that we raised on the farm. We had a large horse and a large mule to assist in the harvesting of some of the crops on that farm. We had a tractor as well, but we used the animals sometime to help pull the wagon as we would bring in the harvest. Those animals, by the way, were about 16 hands high. And if you know about the measurement of a horse and a mule, you'll realize that they were pretty large. It amazed me as we would load the wagon with corn or cotton and bales of hay that we would have to encourage those animals during the day as the wagon became full to pull a little harder. Sometimes it was an encouraging word, and oftentimes a slap on the rump of those animals with the leather reins to indicate that they weren't pulling as hard as we knew they could. But as the day wore on and the sun began to set, and we wanted to turn that wagon toward home, the moment that the wagon loaded and those animals turned toward home, they knew it was quitting time, or as we called it, quitting time, because immediately, without any encouragement from us, they would put their shoulders into that harness, into that collar, and off they would go, almost at a trot. In fact, we would have to pull back on the reins to keep them from heading toward the barn and toward home. Why? Because they knew that once they got to the barn, there would be hay and corn and fresh water, and more importantly, the harness would come off and they would get to rest. No more work for the day. As I thought about that in this time of isolation at home, and we're told repeatedly to stay home, it reminded me of what we sometimes forget, the joy of home. Doesn't matter whether our homes are large or small, or maybe it's an apartment. In fact, it doesn't have to be a building at all. It can just be people. Maybe your home is filled with 5 other people, or maybe just one. Or maybe there's just a favorite pet, or perhaps you're home alone. And the only connection you have with another person is a phone call, or an email, or perhaps a FaceTime. What signifies to us is the safety, the security, and even the rest of home. You know, Jesus one time was telling his disciples that he was going to have to go away. And he said to them, I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to be troubled. I don't even want you to be afraid, because I'm going to prepare a home for you. And in that home, there are lots of rooms. And I'm going to go away, but I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take you to where I am. You're going home. And in that home, you're going to rest, you're going to be fed, and there is going to be a lot of joy. I don't think that horse and that mule could talk, but if they could, I think they would say, oh boy, we're going home. I am so joyous over the opportunity to stop all this work and to stop all this fretting, because I'm going to where I'm going to be cared for. Those people who make me work, they're going to provide for me. If you trust in Jesus, one day he's going to take you home, and he's going to prepare for you a place where you are going to be so full of joy. I can't even imagine what it's like. But I know one thing, we can trust him. He has assured us that our home is complete. rest in that joy. Have a great day.